The story of Nancy Guthrie began like any ordinary family evening in Puma County, Arizona. On Saturday, January 31st, 2026, the family shared dinner, laughter, and warmth. Around 9:30 p.m., Nancy, 84, was dropped off at her home in the Catalina foothills. She walked inside using her walker, the garage door closing around 9:50 p.m. Nothing appeared amiss. That night, no calls, no texts, no disturbances. But in the quiet of the early hours, between roughly 1:45 a.m. and 2:30 a.m., her pacemaker app lost connection. That narrow overnight window would become the focus of an escalating investigation. A sharp mind, fragile heart. Nancy Guthrie was more than an elderly neighbor. She was a matriarch with a sharp mind and a fragile heart. She had raised 3 children single-handedly after losing her husband suddenly to a heart attack. She relied on a walker, but her mental clarity remained intact. Chronic heart problems required a pacemaker, and daily medications were crucial to managing pain and stability. Missing even a single dose could trigger weakness, confusion, cardiac complications, or worse. Her health made every hour without medication a serious concern, amplifying the urgency of the search from the moment her absence was noticed. The alarm is raised by Sunday morning, February 1st. Alarms sounded. Nancy had missed her regular church service, a pattern she never broke. Friends and relatives tried to reach her by phone, but there was no answer. Around noon, family members went to her home and found it eerily empty. The house showed no signs she had left voluntarily. Deputies from the Puma County Sheriff's Department arrived within hours, quickly shifting the scene into a criminal investigation. Signs of forced entry, a damaged door frame, and a trail of blood transformed the concern from a welfare check to the suspicion of an abduction. Immediate law enforcement response. Sheriff Chris Nanos was direct in his public statements. Nancy Guthrie had likely been taken against her will. Within hours, homicide detectives were on the scene, a move usually reserved for violent crimes. The FBI joined the investigation by Sunday evening, bringing federal resources to the case. The combination of a high-profile family and a medically vulnerable victim triggered a coordinated, multi-agency response. Ground teams, helicopters, and drones were deployed across the rugged Catalina foothills terrain, scanning washes, hills, and desert expanses. Volunteers joined in, canvassing neighborhoods and reviewing doorbell and traffic cameras, hoping for the first solid lead. Evidence inside the home. Inside Nancy's home, the evidence told a grim story. There was no sign of voluntary departure, but damage to doors and windows suggested forced entry. Drops of blood traced a path toward the porch and driveway. Investigators concluded that she was abducted, not wandering. The home's seclusion, combined with wide spacing between houses, made surveillance sparse. Investigators noted the absence of vehicle or foot traffic leaving the area at night. Each detail intensified the urgency, highlighting the danger posed by her medical needs. For Nancy, each hour without her medications became a countdown clock that the authorities could not ignore. The medical urgency. Nancy's health was the most pressing concern. Medical experts confirmed that elderly patients with pacemakers and chronic conditions can deteriorate rapidly without proper medication. Even minimal water or partial doses may prolong survival, but the risk of cardiac events, confusion, and fatal outcomes grows with every passing hour. The situation created tension not only for her family, but also for law enforcement and medical consultants, who knew that time was not on their side. Public awareness was critical, as any sighting or small clue could prove life-saving in this delicate window. Day 2. Expanding the search. By Monday, February 2nd, the search intensified. Law enforcement teams covered every square mile of the Catalina foothills and surrounding desert areas. Helicopters swept over rocky washes and cactus-covered hills, while ground teams scoured trails. Volunteers, neighbors, and community members joined, looking for even the smallest hint. Investigators collected footage from security cameras and license plate readers, analyzing patterns and anomalies. The area's isolation, which had initially hindered detection, became a challenge in tracing possible escape routes. Despite exhaustive efforts, no confirmed sightings of Nancy surfaced, and no vehicle had been clearly linked to the abduction. Behavioral clues and public pressure analysts noted a pattern among captors in high-profile cases. Stress and fear often produce behavioral mistakes. Public pressure, sustained media coverage, and financial strain can force decisions, potentially creating opportunities for breakthroughs. Experts emphasize that elderly victims with medical vulnerabilities are sometimes returned alive because perpetrators cannot maintain care without detection. This statistical insight offered a small, cautious optimism for Nancy's survival. Every day of media attention and law enforcement focus increased the likelihood that someone with knowledge, out of fear or guilt, might step forward, providing the critical information needed to find her. Unanswered questions. 8 days into the search, many questions remained. Was the person demanding $6 million the same individual who entered Nancy's home? Had she been given even minimal medication or water? Were there unreported witnesses in Tucson or beyond who had seen something unusual? Authorities urged the public to provide any observation that seemed minor at first glance: an out-of-place vehicle, an unusual conversation, or an unfamiliar person with an elderly woman. Even tiny details could reshape the investigation, revealing routes, behaviors, or locations previously overlooked in the sprawling desert landscape. Statistical hope data from FBI and local agencies suggest roughly 70 to 75% of adult abduction cases with indicators of foul play are resolved within the first 30 days when resources remain high. While elderly victims face greater risks, prolonged detention often increases survival chances. Historical cases show many high-profile kidnappings resolve between day 7 and day 21. Captors may release or reveal victims alive under mounting pressure. These statistics provide a crucial thread of hope, reminding the public and investigators that Nancy's disappearance, though dire, is not beyond resolution. Family and community vigilance. Nancy's family remains at the center of the search. Her children, devoted friends, and neighbors continue to rally for her safe return. The family has been relentless in maintaining public attention, encouraging tips, and ensuring that every lead is pursued. Community volunteers have canvassed neighborhoods, reviewed security footage, and shared information online. The collective effort amplifies the reach of law enforcement and increases the chance that someone, somewhere, will recognize a key detail. For Nancy, the family's vigilance and unwavering hope serve as a lifeline, a reminder that she has not been forgotten. Continuing the search, authorities urge anyone with information, no matter how small, to come forward. Residents of the Catalina foothills, those who drove through the area late on January 31st or early February 1st, or anyone who noticed unusual behavior are asked to report it. Health workers, delivery personnel, or anyone with contact with elderly women fitting Nancy's description should remain alert. Tips can be provided through the Pima County Sheriff's Tip Line, the FBI Phoenix Field Office, or a dedicated anonymous portal. Every detail is treated seriously, as it may be the clue that leads to Nancy's safe return. Nancy Guthrie's legacy. Nancy Guthrie never sought the spotlight. She cherished quiet mornings, family dinners, church, and time with her grandchildren. She built a life of love, joy, and service in her single-story ranch-style home, surrounded by desert beauty. That life was stolen in the dark hours after a seemingly normal Saturday night. Her story has united a nation, demonstrating the power of community, media attention, and relentless law enforcement focus. While uncertainty lingers, her legacy of hope and resilience endures. inspiring all who follow her story to remain vigilant, compassionate, and determined. Closing thought. 8 days into the search, the outcome remains unknown. Nancy Guthrie's children continue to fight for her safe return, and authorities pursue every lead tirelessly. Each day brings renewed hope that a breakthrough will occur, that a single observation or piece of information could unlock the path home. While the details of her disappearance remain grim, the community's attention, public awareness, and unwavering commitment offer a lifeline. For now, her name must remain in the light, her story remembered, and every effort focused on one goal: bringing Nancy home safely.